Welcome to the Backpage Podcast, brought to you by WNIA, the official radio station of Niagara University. This is Curveball today, of course, but I'm Ryan Sullivan. And with my co-producers, Jimmy Gone,
hey,
Franklin Heinzman, Frank the Tank.
That's me.
And our editor, our head of chief, James Burns.
Fearless leader.
Fearless leader.
Fear included.
only a slight amount of fear in the leader.
It's more of an anxiety than
Okay.
fear. It's more of a concentrated worry
Right, yeah.
of things that may happen.
Makes sense.
I figured I've been bringing it in a lot lately. I guess I kind of am the host, but it's a Monday.
How has NU Sports looked this week, Franklin?
All right, well, do you have scores pulled up? Because I actually have.
Yeah,
okay.
Iona, or baseball just split
Right.
a doubleheader with Iona. I was at the opening day. It was a very cold day. I was filming it for Ridge Report. I actually got to go on the field. I felt the turf. It was very, very nice. The team, split the doubleheader, and I know they're not
They
doing
started
so
off well.
great.
They lost the first game 10-2.
Right.
But, yeah.
I only stayed for a couple innings because I had to work.
Average.
But
They won
Average.
3-2, then won Sunday 9-6. Yeah, so they bounced back.
no, but they had 2 games on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm saying they won the second game on
Oh,
Saturday
okay, I
and then
see.
won
Yeah.
9-6 on
Okay.
Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, now they're 9-14, but their 4-2 conference puts them
Yeah.
third in the MAC standings. So that's good things coming around.
So yeah, it was again, and it's mostly about how they do in the MAC, honestly. And so off to a good start against Iona, playing against. Oh, the next game is the 10th against Bonaventure. Oh, I actually have a friend on Bonaventure. I thought they were playing at Bonnie's, but I might go to that game then on the 10th.
Pretty
What's the
competitive.
date today?
How the
ninth?
turn
Nice.
tables.
It's nice.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
How the turns have tabled.
How
Games
the
are at
turns
2
have
and
tables.
5. Jeez, that's gonna be
Women's lacrosse won 11-5, beating Manhattan.
It was a good weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Women's tennis is on a 3-game or 3
I would say
match
women's
winning streak.
tennis is on a 3,
Nice.
and with 2 MAC wins. One first against Monmouth, where they won 7-0, and then Fairfield 6-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they
Very
so
nice.
their MAC record now, their conference record is 2-2.
Yeah. Nice.
7-16 overall,
Mhm.
but that 2-2 is what you really got to pay attention to, right?
Their first away win. Now 1-6.
They
on the
lost a
road.
lot on. They lost a lot in tournaments. They lost to Akron and Bucknell. They got killed in Olean, which I don't know if that was a tournament or not. But they went to Orlando. I'm looking at the dates. That was spring break. They lost every match, but I mean, they played what looks like a number 3 seed. Over, and I don't know if that's a country. It says number 3 Kaiser University. So that could be an indication that these teams were above and beyond, much, much, much better than Niagara. But then coming to back, beating Siena, or no, they lost to Siena, lost to Binghamton, but beat Monmouth, beat Fairfield. I don't know. That's a good.
Yeah,
that's a
sounds
good.
good.
So yeah, they're
so
in a
that's-
good spot.
Apologies to our listeners, by the way, for our slight technical difficulties. Don't know what happened there.
Yeah, something I don't know. Something felt weird in my headphones when I think
Yeah.
you brushed something when you reached for your phone. I don't know
Me?
what happened,
Oh,
but,
yeah,
but
yeah.
just something about the volume change. But I think we're good. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah, we're good.
Alrighty, let's move to this. So
Yeah.
today I was not on WNR. I will be on Wednesday though, 10 to 11.
Maybe.
But as I was walking in, I was told that this never got touched on WNR, and I thought, why not bring it to the Backpage Podcast? So, if you guys could have dinner with 3 historical figures from wherever, we're gonna go only sports. If you want to listen to who I would say outside of sports, you're gonna have to tune into WNR on Wednesday. Who would you guys sit down with 3
Players, coaches,
These can be
GMs,
dead or alive, right?
Yeah, dead
Yeah.
or alive.
Dead or-
Any
Oh,
part of any
copyright.
organization.
Copyright.
We're not. This isn't for money, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're not wanted dead or
We've
alive.
been
right?
playing songs, yeah, constantly that we
Wanted.
don't have the rights. I mean,
Wanted. Dead or alive.
Okay. Does anyone have any ideas to start with?
So we're doing players, coaches, GMs, like anybody
Yes,
sports
anybody.
Sports
related.
related. Yep.
All right, I would like to go first.
Oh. Well. Okay.
I would sit down with Ralph Wilson.
That'd be interesting.
I would sit.
Eh.
What do you mean? Whatever. Right, you're right.
Just
You're
kidding.
right.
It's your choice. It's your choice.
Legendary man, though, overall, for not only for the Bills, but for football as a whole.
Yeah.
I would sit with Ralph Wilson, George Steinbrenner, and probably Terry Pagula.
3 owners.
Really?
Interesting.
I don't mind that, though.
Ugh.
You figure you could really pick their brain about a lot, and also
Exactly.
the different business strategies they use. How
Like-
they all carry themselves.
Like George Steinbrenner built an empire. Like as much as you guys don't like the Yankees, you have to admit it's literally an empire.
It is. It is an empire.
An evil empire.
Evil Empire, yes. We used to do 3. Could we do 5? 3's so tough.
No,
3.
3.
That's why
Three.
it's 3, so that you have to narrow it down.
Yeah, it's very tough. Now,
I don't
do you
know.
want to go next, James? Or?
Well, my thing is that Ty Cobb...
Actually, wait, hold on. I have
Cobb,
But I heard he's kind of a jerk.
He's
so
not
I
a
don't
good
know.
person.
Yeah, I don't
Can
know if
I?
I'd want to talk to him.
I'm gonna switch out.
Oh, well, if you're switching out, then let's just do 5.
No,
It's
no.
already, you either do a 5 or no
okay,
switch outs.
because I said how about Terry Pagula? Because I didn't think about it.
Then no switch outs.
Yeah, I'm switching out. Too bad. I'm
Oh.
switching out Terry Pagula for Bill Polian.
That's
a
better.
good pick.
That's fair. That's better. That's
I'm
way
fine with
better.
that.
He's a nice guy.
Well,
Family friends, actually.
I can name one. David Wright, no doubt.
Average.
Super
What's
nice
it like
guy.
to lose?
Well,
that's
I
your
wouldn't-
first-
I
Well, he
wouldn't-
wouldn't know because
I
he's never
wouldn't-
on the field.
I wouldn't say that. So, both of you just factually incorrect.
roasting.
So
He's always
so
hurt.
nothing
What
you
do you
can
mean
say.
factually incorrect?
Just roasting at this point.
He had years from when he came up until like 2016, basically, where he was fully on the field, healthy, driving in 125 runs, hitting 30-something home runs. So
my question's
Yeah, I
correct.
don't wanna hear
How
it.
w's it like to lose?
So yeah, what would you like? Yeah, how would you like to lose? That's
All right.
that's
Next.
that holds water.
All right, who's up next?
No, Jamie still has a few
I
more.
know,
I don't know
know.
my other ones
Okay.
yet, but
I know.
I don't. I
As
just have
for,
one
like-
right now. If other people have
Yeah,
some
as
others
for,
throw in.
as for like your people, not next person. You know what I mean?
I don't. I would say Ty Cobb's one of my I think is just so interesting. But
Was
yeah,
he on the White Sox team, or am I thinking of someone else?
That was
The
Shoeless Joe Jackson.
That was. Okay.
He was on the Tigers. Ty
Yeah,
Cobb was on the
okay,
Tigers.
right.
Which is kind of like two reasons. I hate the Tigers, so I don't know that I'd want to meet him. I don't want to know that I'd call him my favorite player. I heard he was a jerk too. Right? I heard he
Oh, yeah.
just was not a
Racist,
good,
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beating fans up. He
Yeah.
would sharpen his cleats before every game. He would sharpen his metal cleats. And then he would slide high. He would aim for knees. He would aim for the thigh or the arm, whatever you're facing. So I don't know that I'd want to meet him.
Yeah.
But he is definitely like one of the most interesting
Yeah.
figures I've ever
For sure.
come
yeah.
across. So I don't know. Then you could talk about people who are just that you want to talk to right now, like as a journalist. Like you could say, I could hear an argument for like someone like Jack Eichel or someone like Kyle Williams. But if we're saying dead or alive, I'd rather go dead because there's zero chance you're gonna meet them. And I
Fair.
mean, relatively
Fair.
speaking, I'm more likely to meet Kyle Williams than
Ty Cobb.
Ty Cobb. Yeah.
So are you putting down?
I don't know. I actually don't
Okay.
know.
Oh,
I might go Eli Manning then, a second one.
Oh gosh.
Let's
What's,
say,
what's
like,
it like to
What?
throw an interception?
What's it like to win 2 Super Bowls? How about that? I could ask him that. 2 Super Bowl
Against Tom
MVPs. So
Brady.
yeah, you can shut up with that one,
Against Tom
Franklin.
Brady. Against Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So you have David Wright, Tom Brady. Who would be your
no,
third?
David
Eli
Wright
Manning.
and Eli Manning.
Eli.
Eli.
Oh, Tom Brady.
I don't want to meet Tom Brady.
Maybe
He'd
Tom
probably-
Brady.
yeah,
Maybe
okay.
Tom Brady. I don't know.
That wouldn't be the worst
That'd
in the
be
world.
good. Yeah.
Here's a good sports question or dinner question. What would Tom Brady order?
Something with
Salad.
a salad. Yeah.
Yeah,
Kale.
salad. Kale
I don't know.
salad.
I think he would order Lint. 'cause
lettuce
that's all his
salad.
body can take.
He would not have a beer.
No.
If anything, he would have.
Vodka
Yeah.
something, like a martini.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I would
kind of
challenge him to a
ideal.
chugging contest, Tom Brady, and I would lose. But he.
Oh, yeah, he can actually chug beer. Yeah.
Oh
that's
yeah,
right.
that's right. He was on Colbert
That's right, yeah.
recently.
I
Yeah.
don't know. They swapped the beers before they did it, so is one water? Is one actually beer? I don't know. If
Either
you
way,
wa-
he drank
Either
it
way.
incredibly fast.
I could drink
So
water that
it's-
fast. I could drink water that fast.
That's impressive.
I could drink water that fast.
I'll believe it when I see it. But all right,
I got a water bottle right here.
chug it.
And that's bad radio. We don't have a
I
camera.
was say yeah. Let's upgrade to the cameras. We have a bunch of cameras.
Ryan, you haven't said anyone yet. What do you got?
Well, I've been kind of mulling over while all you guys been talking. I'm trying to think about who I really would pick. Mine are a lot of really oddball picks, and you guys look at me a little weird for them.
No,
But
go ahead.
Dale Earnhardt.
Oh,
Okay.
you know what?
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I would respect it. So
Yeah, I
such a
respect that.
dominant figure in his sport.
Dale Earnhardt, Jim Furyk for golf.
Okay.
Really legendary guy in the game.
Can we pick what we do with these people, or is it
No,
It's
we're
just
just picking-
dinner.
We're sitting
Dinner.
down.
Just dinner.
Dinner.
Stop trying to navigate the rules,
And
James.
I
Dinner
go
with
in.
Well, because I mean, Arnold Palmer, like I would love to play around with him, but I
Well,
don't know that I want to
because-
like have like a turkey and rice sandwich.
Yeah, it's just someone you would want to talk to. You know,
Sitting
interact
down
with.
at dinner.
Anyways,
Yeah, like
we
a
interrupted
nice sit
Ryan,
down-
so back to Ryan.
I just like to make sure what I'm picking.
But I would really question Joel Quenneville. He's a really interesting guy
Yeah.
at Chicago, and he's been a legendary coach. But I think, honestly, if I'm doing my last one, I'd probably choose Dale Talon, who is GM for Florida Panthers.
Who? Oh, what?
Okay, yeah, that was your only oddball there.
You lost me.
Yeah.
Dale Talon, he is literally the mastermind behind the Blackhawks franchise. He went and he drafted Patty Kane, Jonathan Taves, Corey Crawford, everyone else, and he is a scouting legend in the sport of hockey.
Oh, okay, a scout. Okay, like what did you see in player X?
Yeah,
Y, and Z?
and he's a GM, and for him with the Panthers, everyone wrote off Alexander Barkov as the second overall pick that year, and he is basically a legend of Florida at this point because he's doing so well as a center. He was not a clear-cut player being the top 3 even that year, but now he's turning out to be a legit number 1 NHL center.
All right, give it to me straight. What should the Sabres do? And so that'll be the first question.
Yeah,
exactly.
My third actually might be Tom Brady. Because
Brady
here's
would
the thing, I want to be able to like pick his mind about like all the great situations he's been in. Same with like Eli. Just pick their minds about the situations they've been in, what it takes to be a winner, how what their mindset is in all these situations.
Just read his book.
No.
Ooh, what, reading? We don't do that.
Reading.
I mean, I've read Ray Lewis's book, and I love Ray Lewis to death. But
How to Get Away with Murder? Was that the?
Oh, goodness.
That was OJ's book.
But it's a really good book that you wrote, and even though I can get a lot from that book, there would be a whole lot more questions, and a lot of the players with that there's a lot more questions than you just get in the book.
Right.
So I mean,
I might go super basic with my picks, just like
You already picked.
what did I pick?
No,
Ty Cobb.
he did Ty
Cobb.
Cobb.
No,
that's
not
it.
Ty Cobb. Not doing Ty Cobb. I tried. I explained why I didn't pick Ty Cobb.
I don't remember your other picks then.
I didn't make one. I didn't make
Oh.
a single
All
one.
right,
That's
then
why.
Then let's go.
Jackie Robinson.
Yeah. Okay.
I like that.
Jackie
pick.
Robinson would definitely. I feel like just the stories that he had would just absolutely revolutionize the way I look at that time period. Like I'm sure there's stuff that didn't make it in the movie, and
Yeah. Oh well, certainly.
yeah, so
Muhammad Ali would be a good one too. But.
that'd be good too. I don't know. Jackie Robinson is probably up there. I'm thinking more. I'm thinking like just past influential people.
Yeah, you kind of wrestle between like current heroes and
Like I don't know if I'd want to meet Michael Jordan.
Past.
Like I don't know
Oh,
if
I
I'd want.
would. Why would you?
Well,
not
no,
wanna
but
meet-
like if I had to pick 3
Oh,
people,
okay.
like,
Yeah,
like
3
obviously I
and
would
only
love to
3.
meet Michael Jordan, but like
Alright.
my top 3 people of all time, like I'm probably for the reason I said earlier, I'm probably leaning like dead, just because like that's an incredible.
Listen, 2 out of my 3 are dead, and
I was gonna say,
the third's, let's be honest, is pretty close.
Wow.
Who's the third one you picked?
Bill Polian.
Oh, right. Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. Okay. Yeah, so I say Jackie Robinson. Bill Russell. I'd throw Bill Russell in there.
Okay.
Count 'em.
That's
Maybe
nice.
like a dominance thing. Like what was different at that time? What were you guys doing that no other team was doing? How did...
Well, I can answer that question. They were playing against mailmen and milk boys.
They
Well,
had
that too,
They had
but, like,
6'10" Bill Russell as well.
why didn't anybody else do that? Why was Boston the place to do it? Why would
Red Auerbach.
Red Auerbach
Red Auerbach.
kind of stems back to
Another
that.
good,
Yeah.
another good dinner candidate, Red Auerbach.
If it wasn't Bill Russell, it was gonna be Red Auerbach. Third would be, I don't know. I'm thinking old guys. I'm a baseball guy.
This is really tough. Like,
It
this
is
question.
really, really hard.
'Cause there's at
It's
least
hard to narrow it
There's
down.
at least 10 guys each of us would
Oh, yes.
respectively
Oh yeah, there's like a
love to.
flood of people that come in like right away. There's
Like,
like
if
a
I had-
flood of people.
If
Like
there was more, if we had prepared longer, maybe my answer would be different. But just like coming off the top of my head, those are
Me
kind of the
too.
guys I
Yeah.
thought.
so
of.
Jackie
That's why I
Robinson,
switched
Bill
out.
Russell. Bill Russell's still with us though, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean Arnold Palmer's up there.
Yeah.
Another
Arnold Palmer's
dominant
up
figure
there.
in his sport.
Yeah, exactly. Like I would like to meet dominance.
Yeah.
Like I would like to meet.
That's my thing with like Tom Brady. Yeah.
Yeah, so Tom Brady's up there. Bill Russell. Oh, John Wooden. John Wooden's my
Oh,
third.
yeah.
John
Okay,
Wooden's
that's
my
good.
third. Yeah, 10 straight UCLA championships. 10 straight national championships.
Kareem,
That's
right?
ridiculous.
Was that
crazy.
was it Kareem or Wilt?
Kareem.
Kareem.
Lou Alcindor
Kareem.
at that time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Wilson.
But I mean, just
Bill
10
Walton.
straight,
Mm-hmm.
10 straight championships for UCLA in the 50s, 60s,
Yeah.
50s, 40s,
60s.
60s. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I mean, just to meet dominance, to get inside these people's heads, and just what it's like to be so dominant in a role that is already so competitive.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
like a college basketball coach, where that's a year-round job in which recruiting, coaching, and it's sustainability. right? It's you can sign a player to a 10-year deal, but what do you do when the most you're gonna have a player is 4 years?
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
So coaches in college always amazed me. Jackie Robinson is the most influential sports figure of all time.
Yeah.
Like just shattered, just turned the sporting world on its head. And back to the dominance thing, Bill Russell, and talk to Bill Russell and just like how the hell did you do it? How did I know how they did it, but like still 11 championships. Phil Jackson took double the time to do that.
I think going to dominance, I know a lot of people don't necessarily consider it a sport, but just like a dark horse for me would be Andre the Giant, who was
Just a documentary, really. Just came out. Yeah.
And for him,
it's going to.
Buffalo was one of the top 3 wrestling and boxing places in the entire world.
Yeah.
At one point, they were the number 2 boxing place in the country. Buffalo as a city has a whole long list of people in the Hall of Fame for not only boxing but wrestling. And Andre the Giant used to come to Buffalo bars and work Buffalo bars. And so for me, like just picking his men and like what he even thought of the local area.
I'm thinking like past Buffalo. Like if this stemmed beyond sports and just Buffalo figures, I think we could have a 5-hour conversation.
Oh yeah.
And that's what we're going to do on WNR. But for now, let's go to just, Pro Sports Now.
Tune in to WNR Wednesday, where we'll be coming to you with historical figures and why we have them come to dinner with us. Catch it Wednesday from 8 to 11.
NHL playoffs are set.
Oh, yeah.
What do you guys think of the bracket?
We talk about the Masters first. We did like the Masters.
I'm gonna be
like,
honest. I watched the last hole. That guy shooting. That's all I watched. So
I didn't watch
can't
a
really
s-
talk too much about it.
Spieth and Ricky came back, made it close, but Reed held them off.
Yeah.
Honestly,
watched-
unless
That's-
Tiger was on a roll, I didn't really care about the Masters.
I
Plus
watched
one?
a Yankees regular season game over the Masters.
I'll be
Oh
honest,
yeah,
played
I was
Fortnite.
watching the Mets Saturday afternoon game when the Masters was on. Like, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
anything else. Basically.
I went and I watched it on replay. I watched a good probably half an hour to an hour of it, but really I didn't catch much.
Yeah.
All right, so that was Masters talk.
All right, that was talking golf.
good,
Yeah.
good job.
Okay, so the NHL playoffs are set. Who do you guys think is going to win it all?
Nashville.
Winnipeg. I don't know.
We talked about this in WNR
We
a
did,
little
we
bit.
talked a little
looked
bit.
at the
But we
matchups
didn't
and
make.
stuff,
Did
but
you
no,
make
we
full
didn't.
predictions? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
we kind of did.
We went and basically said essentially that Anaheim would topple over San Jose, that Vegas would beat LA,
Yes.
and
I agree
then
with
we'd
both.
have Anaheim beat Vegas and upset Vegas. We had Nashville beat.
Anaheim beating Vegas. Interesting.
We had Nashville beating
Yep.
Winnipeg or Colorado. We
Yes.
had Winnipeg beating Minnesota, and we had Nashville
Yes.
beating Winnipeg. So it would have been Nashville, Anaheim.
I don't know. I'm
Anaheim's
really
just-
high on Winnipeg.
I know. Nashville's just, or not Nashville. Anaheim was, there's built for playoff hockey. They're sustainable.
They have been
and
crazy
physical. Yeah.
And
that's-
I get the I know. I understand why you guys made the upset pick in terms of Anaheim over Vegas, but I'm talking about Winnipeg and Nashville.
Yeah.
I think Winnipeg is going to beat Nashville.
They are a really good team.
They're a good
I do give you that. I just think Nashville is specifically built for playoff hockey.
And that you're making. Okay, I see what you're saying.
I think that they are the better suited team, and when it comes down to it, that there's so many young guys on Winnipeg that it really will come. It would come down to both, since a lot of the West is based off of home advantage. That Nashville would have more home advantage.
Yeah,
and
that Central
they'd
Division
take it
is
off.
tight, man. That Central Division, like the last place team could probably consistently beat the Sabres.
Oh, any team, literally any team.
Consider
could
They're
beat
the worst
Sabres.
team in the league. So
let me look at the standing. But like their last place team is the best last place team in any division
That's
by
fair.
far.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
All right, so
Anyway,
out
anyway,
of
consistent
Nashville,
with the
okay, just as I'm just gonna assume we go as a consensus podcast. So just Nashville plays Anaheim. Who makes to the final?
We had Nashville.
Nashville, and then let's
And so
go to
then
the East.
East, we had Tampa over New Jersey.
Fair.
Yep.
We were really questioning Toronto versus Boston because Boston has been on a really bad losing streak lately, and
And they're super young.
and they're super young. But also Toronto is as well,
Mm-hmm.
and just based off of experience, we chose Boston over Toronto.
See, I'm
It's
gonna
hard.
go with.
We said Game 7 for a lot of these.
Oh yeah, that is that out of every first round series is the Game 7.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to go. Yeah, I'll say Boston, and then Tampa beats whoever comes out of
Yes.
that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We said Tampa beats Boston. We said Pittsburgh probably over Philadelphia, but that's going to be rough. That's going to be a rough
That's gonna be
series.
an awesome series.
I could seriously see Philadelphia get beating them. I mean, whoever comes out of that Pittsburgh-Philadelphia series is going to lose to the Capitals.
The issue is with I think Brian.
Hot take.
I think Brian Elliott is the key to that series because Peter Mrazek, who they brought in, he is 6. I have the stat up here. Since coming over to Philadelphia, Peter Mrazek has a record of 6-7-2 with 2 no decisions, would have been losses, so 6-9-2 essentially. And he has almost a 4 GAA, and he's at 850 save percentage.
850?
Yes.
And how much did they give up for him? Like a 3rd, 4th, and a 5th pick?
Yes.
Goodness.
And so it really comes down to Brian Elliott, who's been the reason why they've been winning going into the playoffs. So they have to lean on Elliott. So if Mrazek comes in at all, he could do really bad. And so we chose Pittsburgh because it's Pittsburgh.
Right. And then I'm going to go with the hottest take, maybe, not hottest take, but the hottest take that everyone is like in on is that the Capitals stink in the playoffs. But I think they're going to beat Pittsburgh. But they're going to lose to Tampa in the semifinals.
Okay. I mean, that's interesting, and I mean, it's not out of the question here.
And so I have personally Tampa beating Winnipeg. But I could see why you guys say Nashville.
Yeah, we have
instead of
Nashville,
Tampa.
Tampa. We have the consensus of Washington versus Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh beating them. So it'd be Pittsburgh versus Tampa and Nashville versus Anaheim, which, as for a fan, those are the most competitive games you can possibly have.
Yeah, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. Yeah, all 1-2s.
So, as for me, I originally thought Boston was going to go all the way, but this was as of like last week, and I thought they would have gotten the first seed, but then they lost to Tampa, and they've had a series of losses since. So right now, I am thinking Tampa versus Nashville too, but I would really like to see Vegas do really well as
Yeah, I mean,
one
just
of the
for like the story.
yeah.
You know?
If they made it all the way, I mean, this season is legendary as it is, and it would have to be a documentary you'd have to make for it, by far.
I could make a documentary of how bad the Sabres have been.
But they've been having good chemistry lately at the end of the season, and their youth, if they can take a few contracts, so that's my thing. The Sabres, they got Dahlin, and you have Middlestat on a line with Nylander.
That would be pretty crazy.
That team would put up points at the very least.
It'd be great if they could get Dahlin.
18.5% chance at the number 1 pick.
If you have him and you put him with Ristolainen, who could be a stay-at-home, both same country, there has to be some kind of chemistry there. The Sabres really, they have a chance to really do something really well this offseason.
The model is to be like the Avalanche this year, not to the extent of making the playoffs, but like turning it around very quickly.
And they have the opportunity too, just based off of not only salary cap, but also the fact that they have so much good youth.
Right, talent on the roster.
But, I mean, now, you wanted to touch on this, I see, in our rundown that we have, but a little remembrance from not only teams around the NHL, but even junior teams who recognize the Humboldt Broncos this week.
Yeah, I put this in the rundown because I just wanted to say like that this is obviously very tragic, and that sports honestly is one big family, and it really showed in the remembrance of the Humboldt Broncos. In that, I forget who said it, but someone said hockey is one big family, even if you're like playing in the NHL or you're on a beer league team. Like, the hockey's one family, and to see the community and the sports community just in general come together and mourn the loss of the Humboldt Broncos and help them out, whether it be financially or like donating stuff or time to help out wherever they can. It's great to see, and I can speak for all of us when I say we send our thoughts and prayers out to the families affected in this tragedy.
Absolutely, and you think as a sport, hockey is honestly one of those sports that is completely built on respect. Especially we've been talking about playoffs. You don't see in any other sport really where players go at the end of the game and they take a good 10 minutes out of their time to give each other handshakes and talk to each other and say congratulations.
Right.
There's that kind of mutual respect of competition, which it goes beyond just a game.
Right. Thank you again for listening to the Backpage Podcast. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Backpage Podcast to answer Twitter polls every episode and get notified when an episode goes live. All right, on a much happier note, NBA. Let's talk. Those playoffs are like almost
They're
set in
heating up.
stone.
I mean, there's 2 games left in the season. And the tightest race, basically.
It's West.
Everything is clinched in the East. The West, the Timberwolves, if they win
My Timberwolves.
the last game of the season,
we're in. They're in.
they're
Sorry,
in,
I
yeah.
know. Listen, James, I know you're on your phone, but you missed a week.
I'm looking for a purple haze on.
I'm a mixed Minnesota and Philadelphia fan because of Kansas ties, but yeah. So if Minnesota wins, they're in. They would play Houston though, so that's unfortunate.
Dude.
If they'd been able to get to the 7, which I guess they still could.
Is there a chance
If they win,
that,
OKC loses. I don't know who has the tiebreaker in that scenario.
I think it's head-to-head, right? That's the
Probably.
tiebreaker.
But then also, what if like OKC lost and Denver won and they had the same record? I don't know who would get in that scenario either. I don't know what the tiebreakers are.
Is there actually a chance Oklahoma City can't make is out of the playoffs? After
there's-
If
bringing
they
in-
lose their last 2 games,
That's unbelievable.
then yeah, they would be
That's
out.
unbelievable.
But honestly, I hope they get in. I think OKC and Minnesota getting in is best case scenario entertainment wise.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you want to talk about entertainment-wise, I think Minnesota and Denver getting in would be the best-case scenario, and Oklahoma City being out would be so catastrophic that it would be such entertainment.
No, but then you'd rather have the entertainment of watching them play the games than having them
If
be
you
out
want,
of
if you want the
playoffs.
best, if you want
I
the best
mean,
competitive thing on
right.
the court,
I mean, having
Yeah.
Oklahoma City Golden State is like a dream playoff matchup with no Steph because it'll be more competitive.
And the Timberwolves beat the Golden State Warriors maybe once or twice this year. I
Right.
remember
So,
watching that game.
as it sits now, Minnesota play Houston, which would be tragic for them. But Golden State, Oklahoma City, you get Russell Westbrook versus KD. It's still, I don't know if there's any lingering stuff. He's mentioned, Kevin Durant has mentioned on the podcast when he goes on Bill Simmons' podcast, he's gone on like 5 or 6 times that.
That's quite the recurring guest,
Yeah,
Kevin Durant.
I know. He said there's nothing. No hard feelings left in between them. You've seen All-Star Weekend.
Sure.
They were fine. But still, once they get on the court, again, everyone is Russell Westbrook's enemy. Kevin Durant has been really feisty this year, getting thrown out of games which he states he's been getting thrown out so much because he wants to repeat so bad, and he just feels that pressure.
Issue 14 of the Niagara Wire is in progress, in production as we speak. Make sure you get your copy when it comes out April 25th. There'll be a lot of features, including a farewell from the founding editors. April 25th, Niagara Wire.
I've noticed. I was watching ESPN's new show. I forget what it's called. Michelle Beadle.
Get Up, the new one?
Get Up, yeah. And they touched on umpires are being more sensitive, and I've noticed that throughout the NBA all season, how they're really
Well, yeah,
triggered.
I think the umpire one was spurred from actually in the Mets-Nats game. Anthony Rendon got thrown out of the game. He didn't like a strike 3 call. He just stood there. He flipped his bat forward, didn't say a word.
and he was like,
And
"That's
the
it."
ump was like, "Get out of here!" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What?" And then that led to the Nationals manager getting thrown out. And like, obviously, I was happy Rendon was out of the game, but I was like, he did not deserve
No,
that.
he definitely didn't.
And yeah, in the NBA, they had a meeting, I think, didn't they, about that? Like
Oh,
trying
yeah,
to
they-
find
yeah,
common
you're right.
ground between
You're
the
right.
officials and the players.
They definitely tried to address
Even
it.
so, Kevin Durant has more T's, I think, than Draymond, which is surprising.
That's incredible.
That's the stat of the day right there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that there needs to be an open line of communication. I think there needs to be a way to communicate what's going on in a game. I think that's vital between a player and, for baseball, for example, to know that the strike zone's a little high today, right?
Yeah.
Just to know
Yeah.
that, and you should be able to ask oh, where was that, or
Right,
was
like
that
have
in the zone?
a constructive
I
conversation.
think there's ways to go about it. You can, like, for NBA, I think the general thing you should do, or that it is understood you should do, is like during a free throw, you walk up to the ref and have a conversation with him then, like a quiet conversation. You don't make it public and huge right after the play, but if you have a problem throughout the game, like during a free throw,
he's holding my arm under the basket.
during a free throw, you go up, you like put your hand on his back, and you just you talk to him, or you stand there and you talk to him about it. MLB is a little bit tougher because
There's a little divas in baseball players, like a little
Sure.
diva. I wouldn't say
for
it's-
sure, but I'm saying it's a little tougher to find just the random time that you're not supposed to be doing something else
I see, yeah.
to go and talk
'Cause
to the
either-
umpire.
Because either A, it looks like you're yelling from the bench.
Yeah.
What did I do? Or you're in his face.
Right, you're
on
holding up
plate.
the game, yeah.
A lot of time you see it is when TV goes off air, and the
between innings,
pitcher
yeah.
usually or the catcher will go and sit there with the home plate.
Right. That's the one time, I guess. Yeah.
I've also noticed that anytime MLB umpires brought up for doing something stupid or looking really bad, Joe West is involved.
Well,
Man.
yeah,
Jumbo
Joe
Joe
West was
West,
on the
yeah.
crew but he wasn't the guy that threw in don't out, but he was on the
I'm
crew.
just saying,
Yeah.
like 9 times out of 10, like, oh, this umpire did that, this umpire did that. Joe West was on the field.
Wow. Yeah.
It's
kind
an
of weird.
inherent thought of sensitivity. Then he's saying, let's not take anything from these guys today. Just if fans, no BS. If he's, just throw them, just toss them.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
And it
That
seems
can't
that way
be
in the
like
NBA.
that.
Yeah, it's if guys are drawing constantly, then they're not going to take it.
You should be able to express your I saw Yadier Molina thrown out for slamming his helmet on the ground. Didn't say a word to the ump, but just slammed his helmet on the ground. Wasn't a bad call. It was like a routine ground ball to the second baseman. He might have been in a slump, so he took off his helmet, 2 hands, throws it on the ground. Didn't hit anybody. Didn't hurt anybody. Right? So.
I think
Then you got tossed right there.
I think it's just a matter of showing up the umpire in general is kind of the
Thing to
But
do.
I don't
the
understand
thing.
how that's showing up the umpire when it's clearly just an act of frustration. Like,
Well,
from
but
what I remember, it was like a couple years ago.
But
and
it could be
yeah.
interpreted, as he thinks the ump made a bad call. He's really mad at the ump. Like it's just how the ump interprets it, I guess.
Yeah.
Unless there's something disrespectful or insulting or threatening said, you should be able to stay in the game. But if you're just tossing your bat, didn't say anything
Yeah.
bad, you
Yeah.
just thought the call was
Right.
outside. There's a million pitches in a game. Just let that go.
right,
Just and if you have a problem, just say something. Ump should be able to say what the hell's your problem? I've seen it said, and I've seen F-bombs dropped both ways. That's part of that open line of communication.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't just have the ump getting upset because someone flipped their bat and have him gone. That's ridiculous. That's stupid.
Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
I just want to add, and the thing is with too, is we went from NBA to this. My hope is for both NHL and NBA playoffs that the thing to do in the playoffs is done still, and the refs do let play go.
yeah,
And they do let a
definitely.
few more things go.
Seems like
Because
they're more
if
physical in the
if they're
playoffs.
going to go and call it like they have been in the season, and you see sometimes where they're just overly sensitive to calling things throughout the game, no matter which ref it is, you just got to hope that they really let the best possible outcome in sporting game happen by still calling it down the middle.
Yeah. And looking at the playoffs, Franklin and I will not be on the podcast this Friday. The NBA playoffs start Saturday. So
Much needed break for Ryan and I.
do you guys you're telling me. Same here. But do you guys see any upsets happening even first round or throughout the playoffs?
I think
for NBA?
Toronto could get up a set, honestly, first round for
Yeah.
NBA.
Yeah.
There's not many others, honestly, I don't think.
Milwaukee and Boston, I'd say, just because Kyrie's out.
I mean, Utah, they could.
To Milwaukee, Boston.
Yeah, Utah could lose to New Orleans although Rudy Gobert is probably one of the only guys that could counter Anthony Davis, to be honest, with his defense. But
True.
Say Milwaukee, Boston's the only.
All right, okay, I'm gonna sound really stupid here, but I know Philadelphia has been hot. They've won 15 in a row.
Yeah.
correct?
Miami, though? You're going with Miami?
No.
maybe?
Last time I looked at the standings, the Sixers were in 6th, and then now they're in 3rd all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
realize they were
the
that
streak.
hot.
Yeah,
Well,
it's 13 or 14 games, and Ben Simmons is averaging a triple-double during that
I
time.
think what tends to happen is when you win, you move up in the standings.
Really, James? What makes you say
So
that?
if you do that a lot of times in a row without losing,
Well,
it
I
lowers you
know
in the
that, but I
James is
didn't-
dropping catastrophic knowledge on us here in the Backpage podcast.
the more you know.
The more you know.
The more you know.
The more you know.
Wow.
All right, let's
And
go
a
to
win comes about when you put the ball in the basket more times than the team that you are facing against.
Not necessarily. If they make
Well,
more
more-
twos and you make less threes, you could still win.
That
So,
is-
Thanks for listening to the Backpage Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the Backpage Podcast on YouTube and SoundCloud.
Saturday in the park. I think it was the 4th of July. Saturday.
Okay, moving on to segments.
Moving on to segments.
So they're third now.
Alrighty, first segment, as we said, we're moving on to segments. Purple Haze. Who would like to start?
I'll start. I'm maybe a week late with this, but I'll say just the OBJ trade rumors. I know they've died down a little bit, but Odell Beckham has recently will report to the Giants offseason workouts once they begin, and he's going to have some conversations there. So I think everything will work out. I know I had previously stated there was some rare deals that might arise that would cause me to consider have the Giants trading Odell Beckham, but
Like
in the end,
4 overall pick.
in the end, he's their star player, one of the best weapons in the league, and the Giants just probably weren't going to let that walk away.
My purple haze is Shohei Ohtani. I'm sick of it already. It's been
What?
5 games.
How are you sick of it?
Sick of it already.
It's awesome.
It happened.
I'm
He hit his first home run, and people were acting like it was the second coming of Christ.
Because he also has a 2.8 ERA in 2 starts.
Yeah, it's great, but it's also 2 starts, and he's played 4 games.
More home runs than Aaron Judge, more strikeouts than Scherzer right now.
I don't care.
That's like saying.
I'm just saying.
I'm sick of it already. It happened when he hit and maybe I'm a little biased because his first home run was off Josh Tomlin, from the Indians.
Yeah, how are your Indians doing? Actually?
But as soon
Not good.
That's my. I'll tell you what. But that is, it just blew up. It just absolutely. And I get that there's a story there. What are they still 2-5 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indians 4-5.
4 and 5. Okay.
4-5.
Yeah, they just blew up. They blew it up. I guess I know there's a story. I know it's a big deal, but we're 2 weeks into the season. I'm already.
This guy
sick
is
of him.
pegged. He's trying to accomplish something that hasn't been done effectively since Babe Ruth, and so far he's off to a good start. So yeah, it's a great story. It's awesome.
It isn't. No, it is a
It's
great story,
awesome.
but I'm sick.
How
of
are you
it.
sick of it? Come on.
It's nice seeing-
Come on.
He
It's
hits
nice-
one home run every.
He's hit 3. He hit
loses
3
their
in 3
minds.
games in a row.
Yeah,
so
well,
that's why they're losing their
We'll
mind.
see what happens this week.
It's nice seeing the number 1 overall MLB prospect
Right.
doing actual what number 1 should do.
And there's a huge Japanese contingency that's going to all his games and
Oh,
stuff.
nice. And wasn't there for years Ichiro?
For
in
Ichiro,
Seattle?
yeah.
Everyone,
And like people
big
started
Japanese.
coming more like Hideki Matsui was up there too.
Right.
He was
Yep.
coming in.
You see, Otani hits actually relatively similarly to how Ichiro does, where he ends off.
Kind of like bails out.
Yeah, he
to the
bails
right,
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That might just be how they when they get a head start down to first. I guess. I mean, if you can shave half a second off your time to first,
Apparently his home to first speed is similar to Byron Buxton's too.
Of course,
Which
it
is just incredible. I mean, he's just an incredible athlete. That's
Yeah.
another part of this story.
I'll see
Yeah,
what
you're
happens.
right.
And yet James is
See what
just a hater. So
I'm
all
just-
right,
I'm just sick of
moving
it
on.
already.
Someone
I'm
else.
sick of it already.
Ryan, what's your purple haze?
my purple haze, we actually touched on a little bit in WNR, that Giancarlo Stanton is a $200+ million bust of the world. It's early season, 162 games.
It's not like I had the Yankees written on my purple haze.
I know, but you had
Should've
the
gotten more
Yankees, but it's
specific.
only
Should've
one
gotten more
player.
specific.
Only one player. And the reason why I'm touching on Stan is not only just due to the strikeouts and the booing and everything else, but also it's a change of climate from being always in a warmer climate atmosphere and also less tense Miami crowd to now being at the epitome of baseball under scrutiny. It's like going to Toronto in hockey similarly. And not only that, but the change in National League play to American League play, American League tends to be more strikeout pitchers and guys who have more blow-away stuff. And with him not seeing this kind of talent only once or twice a year in interleague play, he has to have this kind of adjustment period, and he's not doing well right now. But you figure come July, when it gets warmer, June when it gets warmer, and just when the Yankees generally, they are a June team. Historically, they are a June team that does really well. That I can see him doing really well.
All right, well, my purple haze, I kind of spoiled it a little earlier, is the New York Yankees struggles. As for Stanton, you hit it right on the head. He'll figure it out. There's still 150 games to go. They're 4-5, I believe.
5-5 now.
5-5. Roughly 150 games to go. Aaron Boone is a rookie manager, so he's made a couple of rookie mistakes that are like, okay, he'll figure it out.
You know who else is a rookie manager that hasn't made rookie mistakes? Mickey Callaway.
You know who's not going to be in the playoffs? The Mets.
We'll see.
No bias here.
Oh, yeah, no bias. On the
Sprinkling
back
sounded a
pitch, I
little
guess.
salty early on.
Anyway, the Yankees got hit by the injury bug, which will get over. Sabathia and Brandon Drury just hit the DL, and I know they've been very thin in the outfield. So they'll get over injuries. I'd rather have the injury bug hit now instead of later in the season. And
Yeah,
the
Ryan and
Yankees
I
will
were
figure
actually
it out.
talking that this series coming up against the Red Sox, it'll either completely change the narrative that it's like, all right, the Yankees are fine, or people will just freak out even more because they're
Very
coming
good
in against
point.
Boston, who 8-1 for the first time in their team history, and they were founded in 1910. So that's
Red
pretty
Sox.
ridiculous.
They're having a great year.
And
Yeah,
you,
it's
you,
nice.
you think the whole thing with it too is, you know,
They haven't played great teams.
they
though.
haven't played great teams, and
Didn't they sweep the Rays?
they
Yeah.
did.
Okay, that's
Or no,
4.
well, the first series they lost the first ever game. They lost the first game of the season to the Rays.
Right.
But since then they've swept every single competition they've
And
had.
Like I said, 150 games or so to go.
I'd rather be winning now than losing, though. James?
Yeah, I know. I'm losing now.
Oh, you already went. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alrighty,
yeah,
so just to recap, for everyone's Purple Haze, I had the New York Yankees. Ryan had Giancarlo Stanton. You had OBJ, and you had Shohei Ohtani. Oh my goodness, I got that name right. I didn't even think about it.
Wow.
So
If you think
Inherit
back
now.
to last episode of the Backpage Podcast, my Purple Haze was actually Shohei Ohtani, and I said he was going to be a better pitcher, and I'd been practicing the name, and I didn't get it right, but I just got it right. Boom, on the first take.
well, I'll tell you
Let's
what,
go.
Franklin, you're getting better at this, but you know
Is that your I'll tell you what?
that's not my. I'll tell you what. We're moving into that segment.
Go for it, Ryan.
I'm actually going to I really like Franklin's point on this. I'm going to go back to Franklin. He has a great. I'll tell you what.
Oh, all right.
Oh, I thought
right.
you were going to steal it.
I was like,
No, no.
well, I don't know what his point is. So
Alrighty,
you wouldn't tell me.
so yeah, we have a Backpage podcast group chat that we text, and I said, listen, guys, Robbie Cano is my I'll tell you what. And they're like, what? Why? I know he's doing good, but like, why? Alrighty, so I'll tell you what. Robbie Cano's swing is the greatest of all time. He is so smooth, so effortless,
Ken Griffey.
and so
Junior.
effective. No, not better than Robbie Cano. Both Mariners.
Can
But
anyone
let it-
else weigh in?
Griffey.
Griffey in terms of effortless, but Robbie just looks like he doesn't even have to think about what's coming at him.
Robbie, when he's fielding, is the smoothest fielder I've ever seen.
Exactly.
And on
I
those
do
cutoff,
agree.
the cutoff like plays, that I will say he's definitely the smoothest. I
He
would
looks
give
like
Griffey this swing.
he looks like the most laid back player I've ever seen in my whole life.
Exactly, and that's why it's so it's so great to watch. But anyway, he's hitting 440, 517 on base percentages. Both of those stats lead all of baseball.
Yeah.
So not only off to a hot start, but he's so great to watch. At the plate, in the field, all around.
We have a second baseman heavy. I'll tell you what. I have an I'll tell you what. I think Daniel Murphy is the most important hitter in the National League, and
The National League or on the Nationals?
the National League.
Wow.
Because, well, again, the Mets played the Washington this weekend, so I got to see their lineup a lot. It's a really dangerous lineup, but right now they have Rendon hitting in front of Harper, and then behind Harper, it was like a mix. It was like Matt Adams, one of their catchers, Weeders. Yeah, when he played, he was a little bit hurt. When Daniel Murphy returns to this team, if he can continue the form he has the past 2 years, then pitchers cannot pitch around Bryce Harper. Because, I mean, the Mets walked Harper countless times this weekend. And if Daniel Murphy is behind there going strong, people have to pitch to Bryce Harper, who already is off to a ridiculous start despite not having Murphy behind him. Mm-hmm. And so I think if Murphy is in that Nationals lineup, that is one of the most deadly lineups in all of baseball. And no doubt in the National League, probably the most deadly lineup.
You see the success he had last year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It hurts as a Mets fan.
Where do you guys think he'll end up in the offseason? He's on the last year of his
Murphy?
deal.
Murphy?
No, Bryce Harper.
Harper. Oh, we've talked about this
Yeah,
a
we
little
talked about
bit.
this. Jamie and I tend to agree. Phillies seem to be like the top of the top.
It's actually funny. A-Rod, on Sunday Night Baseball, I don't know if any of you guys watched. A-Rod, they were talking about Bryce Harper's free agency, comparing it to A-Rod's. A-Rod said his number one choice was the Mets. He really wanted to go to the Mets, but he said he didn't take enough initiative himself to go to them, and I had never heard that before. So I mean, it's just how history could have been different. Instead, he signed with the Rangers, but he said he was a Mets fan growing up. He really wanted to play for the Mets.
Interesting.
Yeah.
When did he
Amazing.
go to the? He was on the Rangers, and when I played backyard baseball in
Was it like
2005.
Early 2000, it was like
Think about-
2003 or something. 2000
Before
2003 and 2004,
Yeah.
then he switched.
Right, Mariners, then Rangers, then Yankees.
Yep.
and he would have played shortstop for the Mets. Yeah, for
Alrighty.
Well, going on my I'll tell you what. I think in the first round of the NHL playoffs, the Columbus Blue Jackets will upset the Washington Capitals.
I know it's never the Caps year, but it's not that bad this year.
The thing is, the Columbus is to give it to an old Sabre. Thomas Vanek has 7 goals and 7 assists.
Thomas Vanek,
And
such great memories.
They have incredible depth. And Washington, James touched on this last week with me. Braden Holtby has not looked like Braden Holtby.
Correct.
And their defense is not that great either. And John Carlson is on his last year of his contract. And John Carlson, who wants a new contract, arguably, obviously. He's like 34. You know, he's not playing like he's on the last year of his contract. He's letting goals go right by him. Guys fly. And Columbus not only has depth and strength and size, but they have some really fast small guys like Sonny Milano, Cam Atkinson. That's like that. I think they could really surprise. And we had Tom on last week, and he loves Columbus. He likes how they play. He's a big fan of Wenberg, and we said he's probably better than Jenner. And so, like, I'll tell you what, I really think Columbus will be the upset team of the first round.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, for for a Monday, it's not sports related. I'll tell you what, you're having a better day than the demolition expert in Denmark, who set up a silo tower being demolished. It falls the wrong way and crushes a library about 100 feet away.
Well, actually, before I laugh, did anyone get hurt?
No one got hurt.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
All right, cool.
so I'm watching the video now, and if you look at it seems it's on a bay. The silo is right by a bay, as is the library, almost like on the coast of a bay. And the tower starts to go down, and then just falls over right on top of the library, intact.
Interesting.
But this blog on Barstool makes a good point, is that this guy must be the worst demolisher ever, because people knew not to be in the library.
Yeah.
People knew not to be in the library
Oh,
based
God.
on the fact that something could go wrong and they
Something
could die.
could go wrong, yeah.
No one got hurt and no one died. So that's good. But literally, it was the only place that the building could have fallen and done any damage. Because in front of it, there's water. To the other side of it, there's water. Behind it, there's nothing. But to the right of it, there was a library.
Wow.
So I'll tell you what. It is a Monday. I hate Mondays. You are having a better Monday than the demolition expert who accidentally killed a library.
You think how they imploded Atlanta's old field this year for Falcons. If you imagine something like that, that would be catastrophic. But, I mean, I guess Denmark, it won't make as much news.
No, and
Not over here.
And
Not
in
over
the
here.
U.S., there's the greatest capitalistic society with the best innovations and best ways to destroy buildings. So I like to think that we have the best ways to do stuff over here, and
Because we're America.
because we're America. Yeah. So I'm watching it now. They blew out the bottom of it, and then it just fell over.
That's wrong, too, because you start from the top down.
Well, what happened was, yeah.
Demolition 101.
What happened was there was already a crack in the bottom.
Okay.
So there was like an uneven crack. So what happened was the bottom of it blew out. It was kind of tilted already. So the crack was almost like a point.
Could you
and
say
then
it was a tilted tower?
Oh, I was waiting for
I know,
someone
I
to
heard-
make
I
it.
looked at
I was
you,
waiting
yeah,
for
yeah.
someone to make it. That was a great. Me and Jamie just high five. That was a great one.
Yeah. So it was a tilted tower, and now it is a horizontal tower.
Interesting.
So
Alrighty, let's
Alright.
move to
So yeah, what else we got?
Picks.
Dumpster Fire Monday picks, Jamie.
Oh, good.
Big Monday.
Favorite Mondays segment.
Alrighty, first up, we have the Oakland A's playing the 2-6 Los
Should
Angeles
we update the
Dodgers.
pick standings?
We do. Yeah, right. Yeah, we probably should. All right.
So, would you like me to do it? So, in the rear, Ryan 15-20, James 16-19.
Went over 3.
Ryan went over 3.
No, James did.
Oh, James
I
went
went
over
over
3.
3.
Still isn't in last, so that's good. Franklin
Well, only one
sitting
game
at
there.
second, 20-15, and me, Jamie, first place, 22-13.
For those
2-game
of you,
lead.
Yep, for everyone who doesn't remember or just doesn't know, and this is their first episode. First of all, welcome if it's your first episode.
Yeah.
But whoever wins the host standings by April, I want to say 20th,
By our March Madness dinner, yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
will get their Blue Jays ticket paid for because we're all going to a Blue Jays game.
Yeah.
What's in the
So-
lead
Yeah.
for the? Where are we going to dinner? What's in the lead? Right
Oh,
now?
good.
I have
we
not
got
looked at
we
that
had
poll.
we had Pizza and Wayne's who blew it out by 80%.
Still?
Yes.
I still might do Mexican.
All right, well, yeah, I guess in the end, James Burns will ignore your calls
Yes.
and just do whatever
Yes.
his stomach tells him.
Wow.
It's got a mind of its own. It's not me. It's my appetite.
First of all, Ryan does a better intro than him. Now he's not listening to the fans. The hot seat meter is rising and rising from.
It was
James.
only 19 votes right now. I'll retweet it. I forgot to retweet it, so
Oh.
I'll retweet it.
A few more days left on it.
Yeah, people have some.
All right. Well, if we're talking Twitter polls. Well, today's Twitter poll is going to be who will come out of the West. The Winnipeg Jets, the Anaheim Ducks, or the Nashville Predators? Because clearly that's the consensus.
Should you do like an other?
Throw Vegas.
Should you do like
in.
an
And
other?
Vegas, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because clearly that's the consensus among us four, but we need you guys to decide.
All right, picks.
So, for like I said, for Dumpster Fire Monday, our first pick is going to be the Oakland A's traveling to Chavez Ravine, sorry, and playing the Los Angeles Dodgers. Daniel Magden is on the mound against
Hyunjin Ryu, I think is what it is.
Yes.
Ryu, yep.
So I'll go with the Dodgers, even though they're off to a tough start. I think they're 3-6 now.
They are.
After they won the other night. The A's almost no hit by Ohtani, so I'm gonna roll with the Dodgers at home.
As am I. I'm taking the Dodgers.
I'll go Dodgers too.
I'm going to lone wolf it here and just do the upset
Oh.
while I'm at it.
He needs
you
to
know?
gain some ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The A's, despite looking horrible against Ohtani twice, Matt Chapman's off to a good start.
A lot of stuff to like.
Me and Jamie touched on NWNR. A's really aren't that terrible team. They're not in dead last. Texas Rangers are in dead last that whole division. So why
pitching
not?
kind of is terrible, but
Have I told you that my only house baseball championship came out?
No, you haven't mentioned it.
No.
Oh, weird. All right, what's next?
The Tampa. I know Ryan's gonna really cringe at this one, but the Tampa Bay Rays play the White Sox on Tuesday at 2:00. Blake Snell takes on Fulmer. I forget his name.
Carson Fulmer.
Carson Fulmer. That's it.
Former Vanderbilt star was on their team when they won a College World Series. I don't know if it was the same team as Dansby, but I don't remember. But I'll go with the White Sox. Blake Snell, I think Ryan said, had a terrible first start.
He didn't have a great start. He went 6 innings, but he had, I think, 3 walks and 6 strikeouts, but he gave up 4.
Yeah, the Rays in general stink. White Sox have some exciting young players. I'll go with the White Sox at home.
As will I. Go White Sox.
I'll
Okay.
go Rays.
I'm going to go with the White Sox just based off of their hitting. Rays, they can't get together.
All right, next up, we're going to move to 2 NBA games instead of our usual 1. The Chicago Bulls play the Brooklyn Nets on tonight, actually, at 7:30.
This is a tough one because both teams are actually 27 and 53. They're 12th and 13th in the league.
Definition of a dumpster fire Monday game.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with what are the Nets at? I'm gonna go with the Nets because they're 14 and 26 at home. Bulls are 10 and 30 on the road. So I'll go with the Nets. They're not tanking. They have nothing to tank for. Bulls still have something to tank for. Nets don't have their first round pick, so.
I'll go
Yeah,
Nets.
well, you said Nets, James?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I'm going to take the Nets as well. The last time the Chicago Bulls played the Brooklyn Nets, the Nets beat the Bulls by like 30, roughly 30.
I'll go with the Nets as well.
Alrighty, clean sweep for the Nets. Last but not least, the Suns play the Mavs on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Booker and the Suns on this one. I just think, I don't know. I actually have
That's like
zero
the mindset
chance
for
for it.
Dumpster Fire Monday.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. So
Mavs-
Go for
they
it.
got Booker. I'll take the Suns.
Mavs are on a 3-game losing streak, but Suns are on a 2-game losing streak. They did just lose to the Warriors, so I don't know if that really counts. Again, the Mavs are at home. Dennis Smith Jr. Suns are 10 and 30 on the road. I'll go Mavs.
All right, well, I was going to go Mavs, but I need to gain ground on you in the pick standings, so I have to go Suns.
Okay.
I'll go Suns. I'll do Suns.
All right, so
Yeah, I've actually very
Franklin could
one-sided.
get back, either be down 3 games
Yeah,
or be within 1 game going into Friday.
I would say 2 games are on the. I'm 2 games out, as you said, as of right now.
Yeah.
I would say that's on the ropes. 3 games out, it's like I may as well just pony up my money for the ticket.
Wow.
But if James and Ryan are doing an episode on Friday, Jamie and I will be somewhere in New York City. So if you decide to call us for picks, this race is very tight.
Yeah,
So if you guys
I mean, you
decide,
gotta make
knows-
them no matter what. If we can figure out the technology,
We can either send our picks, just send them to you.
And
I
how
don't know
that'll
what
work on
we'll
the
be
phone.
doing at the point how it'll be with the phone.
I don't know how
So
that would work.
we'll see.
But yeah, definitely make the picks.
Yeah, we'll
Nah.
have them here on Friday.
Yeah, let's make that the
No matter
poll.
what.
Should I get to sit out picks and Franklin
no,
for this
no,
Friday?
no,
Nope.
Yes.
no,
That would make it a much less entertaining podcast.
Yes. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for tuning into today's episode. Catch today's episode on YouTube and SoundCloud, along with WNR streaming on SoundCloud. Catch us on Twitter to answer today's Twitter poll, which is, Franklin.
Who represents the Western Conference in the Stanley Cup Finals? The Vegas Knights, the Nashville Predators, the Anaheim Ducks, or the Winnipeg Jets?
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the Backpage Podcast after we come back from the break. Catch a brand new episode of WNR on Wednesday, 8 to 11.